Welcome to The Front Garden, brought to you by Straight Curve Australia, leaders in precision engineered steel garden edging systems, built for speed, strength and finish.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Front Garden, brought to you by Landscaping Victoria. I'm your host, Adam Hompas, and today we have Aaron and Brenna from Timeless Outdoors in the studio. Today, we're going to be discussing everything from moving from construction to design, the scale of construction in rural properties, and the important question, is the client the right client for you? How are we today?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Great. It's a pleasure. Are you warm? You're nice and warm today here?
Yeah,
good.
Definitely.
Yeah, a bit warmer down in Melbourne than Dalesford, so.
Yes, exactly. It does get quite chilly up there this time of year.
Yep.
Going through your socials, Aaron, I want to direct this at you. Obviously, the work you do, it's high up there, high craftsmanship. What do you do to maintain that type of level of craftsmanship? So, for example, how do you filter that through to the jobs?
With extreme difficulty. I don't know, really. It's a hard one. Kind of comes down to the client and budget, really. And just trying to work out a way that we can manipulate the budget to get the best result. Whether that's like change of materials or I don't know.
But so engage like on site when you're building. Are you on the tools still? You're still there building?
I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Honestly, not really anymore. I'm more a hindrance to the boys than anything.
I echo that because I'm the same to my team, so don't worry.
Yeah, you get there and you've got great intent.
But sometimes just pushing a wheelbarrow for them's fine too, so.
Yeah, they still hate me for it. I'll get there. You know, you get halfway to where you need, your phone rings, you disappear for 3 hours, you come back.
Yeah, I've seen lots of memes about that on Instagram. But I guess the main thing I'm trying to look at is, so the team on site, you come down, your quality control process. So to make sure if you want something's going to be built to your standard, you go over everything. Like what sort of systems do you have in place to make sure it's getting built that way?
Yeah, that's one that we've really been working on a lot lately. It's been quite challenging. I'm just like, I'm never happy.
You got a smile on your face now, though.
Yeah.
You both do.
So, it's hard. I'm never really happy. I'm never happy with the work that I do. I always scrutinise it. I think it can always be better.
Yep.
I'm always trying to learn from that. So the boys definitely have a tough time with that. It can be quite hard for them a lot of the time when I turn up and, you know, it's not exactly what I was thinking. So it's a lot of chats on why we're doing things a certain way, the look that I'm trying to get, why, a lot of why. It's a lot of talking and a lot of redoing. It's probably not the most best financial practice, to be honest.
But at least you're fixing the things that need to be fixed because that's going to uphold your reputation and give the client what they're after. And it's better to fix it there and then rather than coming back to a finished garden. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that's really why it feels like it's throwing money away a lot of the time. But
is that a tear coming down your eye in case now?
That definitely hurts.
I know. I feel it. I know.
But at the end of the day, like, we're very client focused.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure the project's as good as it can be for the client, and and at the end, it always pays off. Whether it's going back, popping a bottle with the client, or we get Eric through with all the photos and stuff like that, and it definitely pays for itself tenfold.
Okay.
In the long run.
Eric's a photographer you get in?
Yep, Eric Holt.
Yep.
He does all our stuff. The guy's amazing.
Yeah,
so,
beautiful. Well, it looks great online, which is fantastic. So
it's the main thing.
So, Brenna, you're the designer of Timeless. Yep. Similar to what I was asking with Aaron, do you come on site as well and check to see how things are going? Obviously, issues are going to come up with the team and they'll say, we can't do this because of this. Yeah. How do you work with the team?
I think it's such a learning process at the moment for us, and just recently coming on board, we're trying to really figure out the sweet spot of how much information do you give them on site. If it was up to me, I'd spend so much time doing 3Ds of everything and and working everything out, but you can't always give every project that much time. And sometimes it's not always how you think it's going to be on site anyway. So I think just physically going to site and kind of being a little proactive and reactive to give the boys what they need to get an idea of the design intent. It's not always easy to get it from a plan, understanding the alignments or the detailing of everything. So just trying to figure out the kind of best way to convey that is sometimes a work in progress.
Well, a lot of the time the plans are sort of a concept, aren't they? And you get to site. Obviously, they've got measurements. They're proper plans. And being an architect background with you, Brett, I'm sure they're spot on. But obviously, things change on site.
It's always so different.
Yeah.
I think actually that's a big difference between architecture and landscaping is that landscaping is so much more fluid.
Yeah.
It's not building to millimetre perfection. And it doesn't always translate what the survey looks like when you actually get there on site anyway. It can be vastly different. So working through that on site with the team is really important.
Do you find a bit of enjoyment out of on-the-fly changes? So, for example,
yes.
Yeah. So when you've drawn something and you get to site and it's like, oh, this isn't going to work. Or let's say if Aaron, who's apparently never happy, says, I don't want to do this. As I said, he's got a smile on his face. He's good. That's something that you find a lot of enjoyment out of?
Oh, yeah. I think that surprise and getting opportunity that you didn't expect is amazing, and that is often something that you do with the clients as well.
Yeah.
There's a view that you didn't expect to see, and suddenly now the whole design is about capturing a view because you took down a tree and you didn't know that you had that view. Things like that are really exciting for me.
Definitely.
Yeah. Or we retain a tree that we thought wasn't that healthy and now it's become a feature or something like that. There's always really great opportunities on site to play into. So it's really nice to have that involvement once something goes into construction. And
obviously that's high communication with the client. So obviously if you've got something in your mind, you think, I think this is going to make this garden nicer, I'm assuming you really need to try to not sell them, but just sort of explain to them why it's going to benefit.
Yeah, for sure. Communication is always really important. And that's probably something that Aaron and I work well with because I have more of a background with, using design language to convince people.
Yeah, she definitely says things a lot better than I do. Yeah. I'm fairly blunt with clients and she's amazing with that.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Well, that's our background. Us construction crews, we're just like, yeah, mate, this and this and this, and design side of things, they're so articulate. It's fantastic.
Well, there's a time and a place for both things.
Yeah. Exactly. See, and optimistic. So, Aaron, what was the inspiration to engage Brenna into the company?
So I've been pushing the company to go more towards design than construction. We just really gained a lot of traction with that. So we just need to find someone really that was great with all the design software. Brenna came along. That was great. We interviewed a lot of people, but just having that background in architecture was very attractive. I'm a big ambassador for the landscape should work with the house, and I love the interior to be pulled outside. Yep. It should be really flowy, whether that's, like using the same flooring and pulling all that out. It should be very well integrated into it, especially with the price point of landscaping. I think we are as vital to the build and the property as the architect is.
Definitely.
So, yeah, that was great. So Brenna knows how everything flows, knows all the building things, knows, everything about the sun and different material choices and getting a bit out there with all that kind of stuff.
That's what you want. That's what you want, someone to push the boundaries and push the levels a bit. What you said before of that you're getting a lot of design traction, what do you think that is? Is it sort of out of the blue, suddenly you're getting a lot of design inquiries, or what's moved it from more construction to design?
I'm not really overly sure. I have pushed it, probably pretty heavily online with who's designed, who's constructed, the maintenance side, who's doing that. Just trying to promote a bit better on the front of not just us, but everyone involved. Really trying to champion everything. But, and we just had did a couple of designs and they worked out really well.
Yeah.
The public seemed to have loved them. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Went from there.
Yeah, it was pretty natural progression, really.
So from when you started, was that always the intention to do design and construction, or did you come in with just construction and evolve from there?
Yeah, I just came in with construction. I didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. I was, long background.
We'll get into it. Feel free. Let's go.
Okay, so I had a business down the peninsula.
Yep.
Then kind of wrapped that one up. Just a bit of background stuff. Wasn't great.
Sure. Was that another landscape gardening business?
Yep. Yeah, another landscape business down there. I ended up really sick.
Okay.
So I closed that down and moved up to Daylesford.
Yep.
Then I was quite happily not overly happily about it, but I do a week's work. I then have to take 3 weeks off to try and rest and try and get a bit better. Then job came up. I went through that. COVID was happening at the same time, which was kind of good in a way for me.
Yeah.
It was, without COVID, definitely wouldn't be where I am today. And then just thought, okay, we'll do it properly. And then, that was pretty much it, really. And then the construction really got underway from then on. Then the maintenance started from that project. I was just really sick of a lot of cowboys in the industry.
Yeah.
And I was getting quite tired of doing this great work and then leaving it to someone. And
it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
They turn up with their $50 Aldi special buys mower and they, you put in this lush, tall, fescue lawn that you've been caring for.
Yeah.
I've always kind of looked after projects for about 10 weeks after just to make sure everything settles in and then handed this particular project over, came back and nearly died and called the client and just said, okay, how about we do it? And they're like, oh, we didn't realise that was an option.
Yeah.
I laughed and said, me neither, but I can't have this. So we ended up going out, hiring a horticulturalist with one maintenance job.
So did you get your apprenticeship for Cert 3 landscape construction?
Yep. Yeah.
And what about the maintenance side of things? Is that something you just learnt throughout the time? Do you know what I mean? Like instead of getting a horticulturalist, you're taking on board the maintenance. So
so on the peninsula, I did my apprenticeship down there. And then on the kind of back end of that, I ended up doing a day a week. Just the business kind of slowed down.
Yep.
Did about a day a week of maintenance down on one of the properties down in Portsea on the cliff, which was very nice. Mm-hmm. I think that was a pivotal moment in my career of really the small details matter. And that was, great for attention to detail. I think definitely. That really flowed on through my whole career from then.
Well, the designs that you guys have warrant a lot of high attention to detail, which you definitely. Can clearly see. So I'd like to bring you in, Brenna, MIFGS 2026. Talk to us about that. How did that go? Because I'm assuming you had a lot to do with the design side of things, or is this more Aaron?
Yeah, it was more Aaron. I had come on, the bones of it had already been designed.
Right.
And I think it's very much, it was an interesting process actually working on someone's design, but then also having to kind of present it, which is kind of new for me. But, it's amazing because I would never think up being able to do what we did with our floating, cantilevering structures.
Yeah.
I think it's where being a builder that Aaron is and then a designer, you're able to really push the boundaries of construction because you know that you can build it yourself.
Yeah.
I would never ask a builder to do that for me because I would have no idea how much it's going to cost. So I think there are really great lessons to learn from having that kind of multi-background.
Yeah, so you sort of came on board obviously when half it was done, then you had to try to tack it on. Yeah. It's almost like coming in halfway through Aaron's garden and me taking over going, okay, how do we do this? So was that a big challenge to do that?
It was a big challenge.
And then did it level out?
I think it did, and I think it was a good test. It's always challenging designing with another person And, you know, no secret, we're both like control freaks. So,
oh God,
you know, like,
the arguments I could see.
Yeah, we bicker a lot.
Yeah.
So it was a good test to go through that. But, you know, it was such a great design.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to work on. And yeah, we kind of got there in the end, and I think there were a lot of little opportunities and lots of details here and there that we kind of developed through the process of building it. And we got to build it in our factory in Dalesford. Leading up, you know, we built a lot of stuff beforehand. So it was quite cool to kind of work on it over the few months beforehand and sort of design on the fly a little bit.
So a lot was prefabricated off-site, and then you brought it down. So I do remember when I came one of the days before the plants, it was all done. It looked like you guys were in a good position in terms of timing because you'd done it back at home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
How did you get it down? Was it in pieces and you kind of weld it together? Or?
Pretty much, yeah, everything was in pieces. Everything was ready to be bolted on. Yeah. The whole platform was built like a tub, so full aluminium frame that just gets dropped in, bolted together and levelled out with Versi jacks and a big wide load for the spa and lawn. So that got trucked down, and then we dropped that in. So we're practically done on the garden day one.
Wow, that's almost unheard of, but that's great. So when you just to go back a second, so people understand, when you say the platform and things like that, so what was built? Is that for the paving, for the? So it's just essentially just the tub. Yeah, bring it in, and it's like a deck frame essentially
for the stage. So the 5 by 5 meter stage, which is what the boutiques are. Yeah, we built up the frame of that to contain all of the mulch and the trees and the plants. Yeah, sort of go into this framework that we've already built up.
Yeah, and then we've got a perfectly level surface ready to build off. So, you know, like the spa, that went deeper than it. So we had welded a ring on, things like that. So you can just lower it in, it supports itself. It's just a really good platform to build off. Yeah. And you can everything's marked out, good to go. So would you say, in terms of the construction side of things, anyone looking to do it in the future is do what you can beforehand? 100%. I think that's why the garden was so good this year. I was overly prepared, knowing that I really only wanted teams there for 2 days. I think everyone thought we were taking the piss a little bit, to be honest.
As in why? Because you had it set up quickly, then went.
We hung around. You know, there were days we just didn't turn up. You know, and then a lot of the time we really probably could have been in and out. I think if we really went hard in 2 days, fully planted and done and dusted. But yeah, it was just really making sure all the details were right. Everything was perfect, and you know, a couple tweaks here and there.
Well, when you've got those days, you might as well utilise them, obviously. So which is good.
We still managed to run out of time, of course.
Yeah, still ran out of time.
Something happened at the last minute.
Something happened at the last minute. It always happens.
Yeah, even though Brenna over-ordered plants significantly,
where did they go?
Ran out.
Back at home?
Yeah, they had to all get trucked back home.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Banned back home,
it was good. Like, you know, I did say to her, I kind of let her stumble a bit with that, and I knew we were going to have way too many, but, you know, definitely not going to be our last show garden, so I just wanted her to really kind of find her feet, and you know, I'm big on letting people make mistakes.
That's how we learn.
That's how you learn, yeah. So I always tell everyone I won't get upset with your mistake, but if you do it a second time, you're then going to start annoying me. Yeah. You know, learn from it. If you learn from it, it's not a mistake.
Exactly. And we all do it. I still do it. We all always do. With the design side of things for the garden, for the boutique, a designer looking to get into it, what, in terms of the preparation for MIFGUS, the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show, versus a client, what was the difference? More detail, less detail?
I think the fun of doing the Melbourne Flower and Garden Show is that you can really go wild with your concept, and I think you don't often need to have quite a strong story necessarily for clients. I mean, it's great if you do, but they don't always necessarily need to hear that sort of stuff. So working on the Flower and Garden Show, you can have something that's extremely conceptual, You don't have to justify everything necessarily about how cost effective it is. So it's really fun. It's definitely a really fun thing to do. And if a designer's thinking about doing it, really having that clear concept from the beginning, I think the story is really important. It makes it a lot easier to talk about it for 5 days to hundreds of people. So working through all of those ideas early on is really good. I think makes it easier to have a strong concept when, you're planting your materials, your finishes, everything ties back into that story. I think that's really important.
Landscapers, designers, architects, listen up. Straight Curve Steel Garden Edging installs up to 3 times faster than traditional systems. No drilling, no tech screws, just a clean, sharp finish. And right now, the first 10 Front Garden listeners to get in touch will score a free 7-metre Click Connect box. Email the word edging to connect@straightcurve.com.au with PRO in the subject line, plus your business name, address and phone number. First in, best dressed. Get your hands on a serious edging system today.
Going back into the business now, obviously when you guys do the consults, if the design's on the card straight away, are you the first point of contact, or does Aaron come in and then introduce you? How does that work on the initial site meeting for your clients?
Well, yeah, generally I try and push everyone to inquire via email. So that goes through to Kelsey in the office, and then she delegates to where that goes to, and then one of us will take over from there.
Yeah.
So construction side, I'll kind of take that on. If it goes to like a design inquiry, that'll get fed through to Brenna.
Perfect.
And then, the maintenance stuff, that generally just stays there with Kelsey, and I'll kind of give her a hand with that.
So if it's sort of, we want to do 50 square metres of paving, you'd go out because maybe you might have an idea, but if they say we want to redo front and back garden, Brenna goes out, does the consults.
Yeah, we tend to do the consults together sometimes, not always. I like to have Aaron there as well because there's always going to be construction questions that really benefit his background.
And it means the clients are going to be able to get the answers they need there rather than saying, I'm not too sure, I'll check with Aaron, and he's right there to go over it all.
That's right. There are some things that, I'm sure I'll learn with more experience, but just in, drainage issues or retaining walls or, things like that are really good to have Aaron's input.
Especially up Dalesford Way, I'm sure you get a lot of hard ground.
It's actually not too bad. It's pretty clay-based. We've definitely got a lot of water issues up there. It rains a lot, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So with the drainage side of things, do you really need to make sure you have it sorted?
Yeah, generally, kind of the way we design anyway, it's pretty fluid. So I like things to be pretty natural and curvy, and we can really shape up the ground to kind of minimise drainage to send it where we really want it to go. Because that's much more cost effective.
Definitely.
Than just running Aggies everywhere.
Yeah.
I kind of don't really like that. And then you backfill it and everyone asks where their money went.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge thing. The photos of the Aggies here and this is this there. But I guess that's the difference about doing Wonderful Gardens Dalesford Way versus down where we are here in the suburbs. A lot of constraints and restrictions with the drainage side of things. So it's good that you've said that you want to try to utilise the land of what you guys have up there.
Oh, definitely.
And filter the water back in. Back into itself.
I think you kind of need to. A lot of it. Well, one, just the sheer work. I'd much rather finish a project quicker and get on to the next one, and then spend a lot of time on realistically unnecessary processes. And
I suppose a lot of our projects are quite large.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And when you're dealing with really big acreages, it's not cost effective to be putting in drains everywhere.
Is that something new to you, dealing with such large
100%,
footprint? How have you found that transition from architecture through to there's that smile Aaron's got.
It's good.
It's a learning process for sure. And I was mainly dealing with projects in inner city, and designing inner city gardens are very different to acreages. One of the projects that we're doing now, we're putting in lots of big trees. And it's really exciting to be able to plant these legacy trees that are going to be there, hopefully, cross your fingers, in 200 years.
Definitely.
But I've never really gotten to put those large trees in before on any sort of projects. You don't have that opportunity.
Is that what sparked you to move from the architecture from the suburbs to go into what you're doing now?
No, yeah, probably. I guess it's lots of different reasons. I've always wanted to live in the country, and I think I love the city as well. But I always was more passionate about nature and planting. And it's funny and kind of ironic now to think back at the fact that I was designing houses when it was the garden that was the thing that I was the most excited about. And I think I'd always thought about architecture as bringing the landscape in.
Yeah.
And then at some point I realised, well, why can't I just design the landscape and not go into the house?
Exactly. Well, it works well with what Aaron was saying before about believing that the inside should coincide well with the out, like it's continuous. With the architecture side of things, how did you transition into design? So, for example, did you do any other courses? Did you do a lot of just research yourself, or Aaron guide you? How did that work? Because it can be a bit different.
Yeah, I definitely went on a pretty weird journey. I think I've taken a bit of time off full-time work for the last few years to kind of shift. So I ended up working or just taking time off, and I moved to the country, and I studied horticulture, just a Cert 3.
Yeah,
because
perfect.
I'd been designing a few gardens, but I just noticed that they weren't successful all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't have that confidence with plant knowledge. And I really thought, I see a lot of architects sometimes designing, treating plants like a paint finish or something.
Yeah.
But they don't work like that. They're living things.
Well, it's good that you went and then you learnt the principles of the plants, all that type of thing. That's really, really good.
So just doing the Cert 3 was a good starting point. And I also worked in a retail nursery, and that just elevated my plant knowledge so fast.
Yeah.
I think it was really, really valuable. I'd recommend anyone studying design to do that, because I think a lot of landscape designers get pigeonholed about their plant choices, whereas working in a retail nursery, sometimes you get to see a lot more weird species. Some things are popular. Like, I kind of have a love of old world plants now that I always hated. It was just really fun.
That's a really, really good way to look at it, because, as you said, if you're doing the course and you can go at least one day a week and get that experience up at the nursery, because you're right, people are going to come through and get what, trendy, what they've seen online and things like that. So, yeah. Was that sort of volunteer work, or one day a week you were working?
I was working, I can't remember at the time. I think I was working a few days a week. I was also running I was just doing domestic maintenance as well for clients around the area that I lived in, and as well as doing my own design. So it was a few years of just doing weird things to kind of build my confidence in designing in landscaping.
And that would really boost your confidence, and it wouldn't. It's like anyone looking to start into it, if they do get their plant knowledge up by doing something like that, is vital. I think it's very similar with the construction side of things too, for the design courses, to make sure they've got those principles, so they don't go in and design something that's, they say, might be 50 to 100 grand or whatever. It could be
that's
300.
right.
So
I think it's good to get experience in lots of different areas. You just always benefit from all the different people that you meet. Rather than necessarily going down one path. I would love to go back and study landscape architecture. It would be fantastic, but I think for the time being, I'm just going to keep doing this and learning, and I learn lots of stuff from Aaron as well.
Definitely.
From on-site construction things, so you can kind of do things a little bit sideways sometimes.
And with the software you're using, anything in particular, Vectorworks?
Yeah, I just use Vectorworks, which I always used as an architect anyway. So
it seems like a really popular program from what I've heard. Mm-hmm. What is it, in your opinion, that makes it so versatile?
I think I've used quite a few different programs before, and being a designer, I love things that are visually intuitive. AutoCAD is not. Revit, all of the more BIM kind of technical things, I don't find them intuitive. Whereas Vectorworks is just a bit more basic maybe. They're probably not going to like me saying that. I just use it for plan. I don't
Easy
use
to
it.
use?
It's easy to use.
Yeah.
It's easy to use. It's colourful. It looks nice.
Get $50 from Vectorworks later. Sweet.
Yeah. I don't use the BIM side of it. I know you can use the 3D things. I personally don't like that. So I always design in either SketchUp or Rhino as well. So I'll do 2D plans and then 3D stuff in a different program.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
Jump around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good way to do it. When you do the designs, Aaron, do you come in and talk about them together and approve it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
It's very, we work together a lot. We kind of do the whole thing really together, kind of go through what we think and will work, what we think won't work. I think that works out really well. As much as we're very similar, we're also very different.
Yeah.
It's worked out well to be able to get the layout right, get the scale correct. I think that's one of the things that Brenna's really learnt on the one that we're doing now. It's a massive property, and just to get the scale right, you really need to times everything by 3 to make it feel correct, which I think is very different from an inner Melbourne kind of.
So what do you mean times everything by 3?
So just, say a pathway, instead of having it 1.2, make it 3 metres wide. Or we've installed these steel stairs going up, and instead of doing like a 2.4, it's 4.6 wide. It's mammoth. But
that's the size of a pool down here in the suburbs.
Yeah, and now that it's built, it just looks right, and they don't look that big, just because they're eaten up by the rest of the garden. It's things like that. It's just trying to make like kitchen garden. I think what was that, like 7.5 meters wide by like 16 meters long, and it looks tiny.
Wow, it looks tiny.
It looks tiny, but it's getting up there with a tennis court, and it just doesn't feel right. But
that's a really good way to put it, as you said, times it by 3 when you've got those large areas. So for anyone that maybe does get a project that they need to do out in the country somewhere, or if they've got a large footprint, times it by 3, just extend it, branch it out more.
Exaggerate everything, make numbers bigger. You lose the sheer scale of everything when you're on a big property. So if you make it small, it'll be way too busy, and it's just going to look really odd in a way.
Well, that's a really, really good way to put it. So after obviously the design comes through and everyone's happy, goes to the you present it to the team, obviously the clients, and it's approved, goes to the team. How do you go about your scheduling? So
we really just do a queue. I don't like giving dates. I feel like in the past when I let people down.
Yep.
Also, I've just never done a job where things aren't added. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gives the client a little bit of flexibility. So we'll go into a project. If they want to add on something else, we can do it while we're there. And then once we leave the property, we're done. And then it's on to the next. So it's just essentially a queue.
Do you have any in particular software or scheduling equipment that you use?
No, I'm very old school.
Yep.
For a young person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a little bit clunky sometimes. It's probably more comes down to my time. Very time poor, unfortunately. I'm just kind of spread everywhere, really. But which is definitely something I'm trying to work on. It's probably why I'm really trying to push the designs as much as possible. And realistically, I think I want to wind back the construction a little bit. So, just stick to one team, not go so much further than that. And we're kind of designing everywhere anyway, so all across Australia. I'd love to do some stuff overseas.
Oh, so you are currently designing things around Australia. How did that come about? Did you advertise in certain areas or just word of mouth?
Yeah, kind of word of mouth, and then it's just kind of pulled us everywhere really, which is great.
Is that a nice business trip to fly up there?
It is a nice business trip. The goal...
You off Brenna, are you going?
Because I'd love to I like to go out and see the site once at least at the start, so we can really get a feel of
definitely
the borrowed landscape and how everything faces, internal finishes on the houses, things like that, the lay of the land and waterways and things like that.
And getting to understand obviously the different plant lifestyles up there and all that type of thing. Yeah,
for sure. The environment that it's in, but also. As much as it's great, it's also an interview realistically as well. So it's kind of interviewing the client as much as they're interviewing you, making sure that we can work together to make sure that it's the best possible outcome. Everyone needs to get along really well, and that we're not going to clash at the same time. Like the end of the day, like, it's a very tough industry to be in. It's really hard. So you want to enjoy it as much as possible.
What you're saying about interviewing the clients is actually spot on, because you're about to go into a huge relationship with someone. They're relying on you to deliver, and you're relying on them to deliver. And I think that's something that can get people starting out a bit stuck, because I think it's always about trusting your gut.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously, if your gut says that things are feeling a bit funny, how would you approach that if you're thinking, I don't know if this is going to work? Do you say, unfortunately, sorry, we can't fit it in? Or do you just say, I just don't think we're on the same page? Yeah,
we're pretty honest. So we'll just let them know that we don't think we're the right people for the project. It's a lot of trust. It's very emotional. It's a lot of money generally that we're dealing with. Sometimes it's, we're talking millions of dollars, and I want to, if we can't give them everything that we could give, then I feel like we wouldn't be doing the client very well. And I like to sleep at night.
Yeah, hey, fair enough.
So if we can help them, great, and I'd love to do it. And I just want to make sure that everyone enjoys the process. I think that's the key thing. I really hate that when people employ specialists and people that specialize in certain aspects, and they get let down by them. What's the point in getting a professional if the project's really hard? I think you should enjoy the whole, not just the build and all that, but the whole process before and after.
With the designs that you're doing interstate, and I want to touch on overseas in a second too, will you just pass that to the clients, and then will that be presented to their contractors, or do you have contractors in the States?
Yeah, so we'll find contractors for them. Instagram's great for that, to really connect with new contractors. You can see not that you can really see it, but you can kind of get a vibe for the quality of work that they do. It's always a little bit difficult to start with a new contractor because, photos, you're not going to put up anything that's bad. So it's kind of, I don't know, a false sense of security sometimes.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because websites are almost becoming the I'm not going to say dated, but Instagram feed is live. It's happening sort of now in the last 24 hours, possibly, if someone's active. So it's a really, really good conduit to use, isn't it? Yeah,
for sure. And I think I love looking at everyone's stories. I think that's what really gives you the right picture.
Definitely.
Of like, is the site clean? Yeah. Is a big one for me. I hate a messy site. I think it's like working in a messy office. You can't think straight. And how can you produce a good product when your mind's scattered? How's
your team with that?
They hate me for it. I'm, as I say, never happy. I think the site could be cleaner. I think things can be better.
I agree.
Always.
I echo the same thing. All I mainly say is to the team is usually just at least the coffee cups and food scraps, as long as they're away and as long as everything else is neat and order. So I hear you on that one.
Yeah, or you get there and, the birds have gotten into the skip and there's crap everywhere. And
it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, does it? Like a tip.
Someone shoot up the Bunnings, go get a net. Like, come on. What are we doing here? Are we cowboys, or, we building really nice stuff? Like, let's just treat everything right. It's also respect for the client as well. Like, a lot of our clients don't live at the property. So, so it's not, I guess, as bad, but it's just kind of ingrained in me,
Absolutely. If they come past, have a look.
Yeah, and they're always up and about and all that. They just, generally don't live there full time. But, sometimes I die. I get there on a Monday morning and there's been, tools left everywhere. I'm like, oh, guys, there was a site meeting on the weekend. Like, what are we doing?
Because it was on the weekend. That's why they weren't listening. Site meeting on the weekend.
Yeah, everyone's a bit keen for beers or something on Friday and they quickly run out. But no, for the most part, they're great. So
that's good.
They do listen. And
those little things are always going to happen. It's just about managing it and trying to move forward from it.
Definitely.
With the overseas designs, is that something Brenna and yourself have spoken about? Like, how has that come about?
Not overly much. There's just been a couple of chats in the background of people kind of inquiring about what that would look like.
Yeah.
Probably been a little bit selfish of, love to get on a plane and go overseas and have a little holiday.
Yeah.
Brenna's smiling on her face. She's like, bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, she loves a bit of travel. So,
I do.
you know, I think it'd be really beneficial anyway for us to be able to get on a plane, go and, you know, meet new clients and see different cultures and, you know, actually kind of see the area. And
how do you feel you'd market yourselves into that?
I don't think I really will push it overly much.
Yeah.
I mean, it would probably be nice. I think Brenna wants to kind of design everywhere.
I'd love to design everywhere.
I would love to go do some big legacy projects overseas.
Somewhere warm? Or you're not fussed?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, not really fast. As long as I'm not on the tools, I'm a sook in the cold. So warmer would be better.
Good thing you live in Dalesford then.
Yeah, I don't really know why I picked that, to be honest. It's like, 9 months of the time I'm a bit miserable there and I'm not overly enjoying the cold, but it's stunning. But and then the 3 months of summer, it's just long enough for me to forget how bad the last 9 months was. But,
Just enough time.
Just enough time. But yeah, look, it's absolutely beautiful up there and it's a great environment and like the things we grow up there is incredible. The gardens are great.
Well, it's beautiful what you guys are doing and to have that different experience of designing and constructing bigger footprints must feel really good and really nice. So
yeah, definitely.
So what's next? Obviously you're looking to do more of the design side of things. Is there another international flower and garden show hovering up there in the top right-hand corner?
Yeah, there might be talks.
Yeah, there might be talks.
Might be talks?
Yeah.
Well, you've come in onto the garden show, so...
Yeah, I think it would be really great to design a garden for the show with Brenna. So it's definitely one that we'll both be on, and you know it's been interesting. There's been a couple of arguments. We don't agree on much, but I think we agreed on something walking into the building today. I was like, that's the second time we've agreed on something.
That's why you're sitting in the corner and you're over here, Brenna. Is that right? You can't be too close.
That's it.
No, look, it sounds like you guys have a really good relationship happening there, business relationship going on there, which, you know, is what's going to benefit the business, pushing it into the way you were saying, Aaron. So, yeah. Yeah,
definitely. Hopefully big things to come.
No, awesome.
Yeah, and just enjoying it and, just trying to enjoy the whole ride, really.
No, well, that's it. It's all about learning and taking what we can from it and enjoying it whenever you can too.
That's it. It's a lifestyle choice, what you do, you know, like you work, especially having your own business, you're giving your whole life to it, so you may as well really enjoy what you're doing, I hope.
Yeah, exactly. If you're waking up and you got the challenges, that's totally fine. That's all part of it, but as long as you can get through it.
Yeah, and it is an industry of love, this one, which I think is why we make no money in it. Just need to start doing show gardens, I think.
Yeah, maybe hold off on that for a bit. Yeah, it's all good. Look,
one more.
Aaron, Brenna, thank you for coming on the Front Garden today. Sounds like you guys have a really good setup going, and look forward to seeing what comes up next for Timeless Outdoors.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
And that's it today for another episode of the Front Garden. Some very interesting highlights that we spoke about in there today, and it was fantastic to have Aaron and Brenna in the show. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to share it on your socials. And as always, we look forward to seeing you again in the next episode of the Front Garden.